Okay. Hello, everyone. What?
It's giving Trisha.
I know, right? I know.
I'm jealous.
Hello, everyone. Chewing, mid chew. That's like Jeffree Star. Welcome back to my channel. Oh wait, what is it? Hey everyone, welcome back, and this is my channel.
Welcome back to my channel. You have the little mirror, and you would go like,
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jeffree Star, and this is welcome back to my channel, everyone. I am Jeffree Star, and you're watching Disney Channel. Okay, let me start this. Okay. Today I have Sage Rose visiting from Seattle, Washington to do an interview with me. Thank you for coming in today, Sage. Welcome in. She's finally here. No, I'm gonna edit it to go over there. Let me restart that.
Say my name and say I'm also Sage Rose because I'm not.
Okay. Start. Let me see. Okay. Hello, everyone. Today I have an important guest coming today. Their stage name is Sage Rose. You might have heard of them, but their real name is Ty Lindblom. He is coming in today out of drag, but she is going to share us some stories about how the drag industry has changed over COVID. I think she's going to be arriving here shortly. Oh, she's here. Thank you for coming in today.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Good to see you. How have you
too.
been?
I've been good. I've been busy.
Good to hear. And then I have some questions today to talk about drag and your industry and how COVID has changed it. Because the industry in the theater industry, it's really been changing a lot right now. And here, take this. In the theater industry, it's been changing a lot right now. And we've been struggling to find a lot of the same opportunities that once were available.
Yeah, that is true. I think it was really hard because, drag shows, obviously, you have like pride events, you have the clubs you can go to for that. And so I think when you don't have the opportunity anymore to go to those places or events, obviously that industry is kind of minimized. So you don't really like have another option. But I think a lot of people were really resilient and they went to online, like whether they were like a small business in one sense or another. They really relied on like shipping and doing that kind of stuff. And what were drag queens and performers going to do?
Because I remember you were working with Bosco, and she actually went on to RuPaul's Drag Race, and that
she did. And that was interesting too, how on that show, those queens that were on those seasons during COVID, like they really had to work a lot harder, I feel like, to get on because they didn't have the opportunities. And one thing that a lot of performers resorted to was online, like Zoom drag shows that you would pay money through however it was, and then you would get like the code and the password to join like the Zoom and you could see it. I don't think it was super lucrative personally, but you have to do what you have to do. And that's kind of like the only option you had. You can't be booked at big events anymore, like in clubs, because they were all shut down.
Exactly. Well, that was one of my questions next was how is the shutdown of the Neighbors nightclub? I know you worked there. How's that shutdown affected the community? And I know you used to perform there a lot. And what was that like performing there?
Well, I really liked performing there because I started drag like right when I turned 18. Like I was encouraged and there was like this competition. Didn't win, didn't expect to win. I was brand new. That was like my first time all in drag. I just did what I could, and
Yeah.
then it was 18 and up, it was the only club really in Seattle
Yeah.
that's 18 and up.
It was
That's
the
like a
only
gay,
one.
drag, like whatever you want to call it, type
Mhm.
of club,
Mhm.
LGBT friendly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And it was 8, yeah, because all the other ones were 21.
yeah, all the others, yeah, and they
Mhm.
were definitely more successful in terms of they had a lot, they had an open
Revenue.
bar like that, and like they just got a lot more people. They would book a lot of like RuPaul's Drag Race performers like weekly, so they would draw big crowds.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Neighbors during COVID, they were already kind of, I think, struggling a little bit before.
Mhm.
And then COVID hit, and I think they sold it to someone else. And then we had,
Neighbors, they sold it.
yeah, I think they sold it to someone else and got it off their
'Cause it
hands
was
because they
getting
knew
broken into.
that was after. So then when we had marches and stuff, and some of them that had turned into riots, it was pretty much abandoned during COVID. And people, yeah, broke in. A lot of drug use was found because now, like, they cleaned it up and it's open again. But during COVID, it was like a drug house, basically.
Mhm.
It was like
Mhm.
a lot of homeless people went there. All their speakers were stolen. Anything like technical was stolen.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it was, like, not good for them, and we all thought that was the end, and they have thankfully reopened and cleaned it up. It is 18 plus still, I believe, on some
It's
nights.
open again. And then what about, you were saying it was sold?
Yeah, I think someone bought it because the owner or owners, they wanted to get it off their hands because they were already
Mm.
kinda, like, dying, and then COVID hit, and they knew
Mm.
there was no way they could support it.
Oh,
That's what I think, I'm not sure, but
that's too
that's
bad.
just what it sounded like.
That's too bad. Who is owning it? Do you know?
I don't remember his name, but he
Oh,
was nice. He was a cool dude.
that's nice. And then what? And you performed weekly there, right? I remember that.
Maybe like bi-weekly, maybe once a month, because I was still young and I couldn't
Mhm.
really get other opportunities like
At
in
the
bigger
21, yeah.
clubs. Yeah.
It
But I
was
was
hard.
grateful for my time
Yeah.
while we had that show that was going on, Vibes.
And and vibes, I was,
That was the show that I could do because it was
oh,
18 and up.
and
So
the audience was 21 now,
no,
right?
it was 18 and up. Yeah, just the bar area was
Oh,
like separate.
at Neighbors.
Yeah,
Okay, and then Intima Rosa.
that was the other show that
Mhm.
I like. Yeah, I was like really young and new, and I like wanted to find gigs. I found myself liking drag more.
And this was before COVID, and there
Yeah,
was
this was before
opportunities.
COVID. And there was like this small like cabaret type show, and I saw someone that I knew performed at it, and I was like, hey, like, what's this show? Like,
Mhm.
I want to get into it. And they're like, okay, yeah, like here's their Instagram and everything, like DM them.
Mhm.
So I did.
Intima?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then so I was like, hey, I'd really be interested in being in the show. Like it looks really fun. And she was like, sure, like no problem. And I was like, okay, cool. Of course, she was leaving for a trip to like South America for like a
Yeah.
month
She's a
or
traveler.
two.
Yeah.
But then when she came back, because I was like, okay, whatever. Like she's never gonna respond after that. She's leaving. She has other things to do.
Mhm.
She then hit me back and was like, I haven't forgotten about you. Like,
That's
we're
awesome.
gonna do a show this day. Like, do you want to be a part of it? And I was like, yeah, like that would be great.
Mhm.
So then I did it. It was in a small, like apartment, like loft studio, art space kind of thing.
Was that at the storage container area?
No, no. It was
It was
literally like a loft apartment building,
the
and like
triangle.
you would no, you didn't go there. Sabrina went with me.
Sabrina went with you, yeah.
But yeah, basically it was like an art space. So like everyone, it was like an open area, but then there was like rooms
Mhm.
that like were locked and everything, and you had your own room, but there was like a main kitchen and bathroom area
Yeah.
on the whole floor. It was small.
Yeah.
And we made it work like in this tiny area. It was to the point where the DJ area was on a canopy, like a built wooden canopy
Wow.
in the air, because that's how tight the space was. And it was probably like 30 people
Wow.
max.
Since I
It was so crowded. It was like by the international district,
Oh.
the central district.
down there, like where like Central
Yeah.
is. That's
Um,
busy.
But then, because Intima Rosa is an artist, she moved to like her art space to this like shipping area in
Yeah,
Fremont.
I remember that.
And it was cool. Like it was
awesome.
really cool. It was like honestly like a carnival or like
Insert-
a fair when you went, because it
Insert
was like
pictures here.
there was
Yeah.
like canopies of like
Yeah.
lights, and like it was just
I
so
know.
lit up,
Yeah.
and it was like it was so fun, and I
That's-
really enjoyed it. And like I had you with me and like
Yeah.
other friends, and I became a resident performer
Yeah. And
basically.
because
After that art
Yeah.
space thing, I became like, oh, keep coming back. So I was like a part of it. I was a part
She
of like
brought
the
fans.
managing and just helping doing all of that, and like finding people, performing, you know, doing
you brought
whatever.
fans, Yeah.
And yeah, promoting obviously.
Yeah.
Because I think I had the biggest fan base at that time.
You still have a pretty fairly big from that group. But and who was the
Yeah.
other queens that you would work with there?
Like Lola, and
LaRue?
then
Was it LaRue?
like Morales. Oh, Rita LaRue was
Rita
there like
LaRue.
once. She's like really good now. She's like a
I've heard
way
she's
bigger
awesome.
following than me. She is, but she's changed up a little bit,
Good,
and her
good.
makeup looks really good. She's doing well.
Awesome. Where does she perform now?
All over. I don't know. She
Yeah.
lives in Seattle, and she's been. I have no idea.
Probably.
I have no idea.
Okay. Pause. Smoke. No, yeah, I'm gonna edit it. It's not as good as the jewel. Is it? I'm gonna have to go through and edit this down in 5 minutes. I think you're good at this podcasting. I kind of want to just edit this out and then pick up where we left off. I think this is entertainment.
I know. Let's make a podcast.
I'm down. We can
Make
do it
it
over
a-
Zoom. We can do it over Zoom and record like an hour long conversation. And I mean, we can just post it because it doesn't really matter who's listening because we can just post it anonymously, kind of. But like, if we can post it with our
But
faces
like,
without
I
our
don't
name,
even know
make
who
aliases.
honestly would watch our podcast.
Anyone on the internet, we promote it on TikTok, make its own TikTok, and then just go off from there. Okay, let's start. Okay, have you been able to continue? Okay. No, Rita LaRue. Rita LaRue is performing everywhere, and she's living alone now.
Well, I don't know.
Right?
I have no idea.
Okay, let me smoke. Let me catch up real quick. We're gonna start.
Just stop it first.
No, yeah. Okay. Pause it. I think this is fine. Yeah, and we are back. A little intermission ad break. So one of the things that we have seen as the pandemic struck and a lot of the gigs had canceled, as you were saying. So what is the ways that you have seen the community adapt to develop in the circumstances? I remember you mentioned online too.
Yeah, like a lot of the
And Rita.
clubs. You're like obsessed with Rita. A lot of the clubs, like I think Neighbors tried it, but it wasn't too successful. But a lot of the bigger clubs like Our Place and Queer Bar, like those big ones, they did online shows, and those like, you know, in person they definitely made a lot more money, and obviously they couldn't sell drinks or anything because, you know, it's online.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it wasn't as lucrative as I think they wanted it to be. So people were finding a lot of ways to try and get around even the online shows and start like, I'll just say like a lot of people in a lot of industries, like even like hairdressers, makeup artists, they were still going like with clients that they trusted and like doing smaller things. Like I know, like, I
Mhm.
was getting my hair cut by my hairdresser and everything during
Yeah,
COVID when, like, her salon was closed, and it
exactly.
was at her
And she
house.
just worked from home. Oh,
Yeah,
everybody worked from home
if
online.
you
You could
could,
online.
and if you were, like, a small business, because stores were open still, because they
Yeah,
had to
groceries
be,
had to be.
but it was, like, certain hours, and you had to
Chipotle
have a
was open.
mask.
Fast food was
Yeah,
open,
fast food was open,
and that was it.
but yeah,
You did a grocery store,
I did it during COVID, like,
yeah,
right.
when it started.
Well, like, yeah, like a little after it started, it was
Mhm,
already pretty established, but it
mhm,
wasn't new. But yeah, we all had
mhm,
masks and we had a person outside that wiped all the carts down hand
mhm.
by hand, and
That's
that
nice.
store had rude customers, I will tell
Mhm.
you,
And yeah, it's hard in
and
West
staff.
Seattle.
But
Yeah, yeah. And then, so one of the things, is there any advice you would tell a pre-COVID drag queen now, or tell yourself before COVID that you would feel made a difference in like the industry, like anyone's advice, how would it help them in succeeding through COVID in the theater and performing arts?
what?
How would you, is there any advice you would tell anyone in the performing arts business before COVID that would have helped you now that yourself?
Um,
No.
well, I would say first. Well, that's like a loaded question because, like, first off, you
Performing.
have to think about that people rely on their jobs to survive.
Exactly.
So it's not like, oh, I'm staying home and I'm staying safe. It's like, okay, but you have bills to pay and
Yeah.
you have food you
Yeah.
need to buy,
Yeah.
children to take care of.
Exactly.
So, like, I would say keep yourself healthy first. Like,
Mhm.
don't do things that you're gonna put yourself in danger. Like if like, because I did like one of the last shows I think in Seattle
Mhm.
before everything was closed down, and my mom even was like, I don't want you to do this
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
I'm like, it'll be fine. And looking back, I am glad I did that show.
Yeah.
But also looking back, that probably wasn't the best idea. I didn't get COVID, thank God, but it was
Not safe.
probably not the best situation with just a ton of strangers. This was before the vaccine. So like vaccine
Yeah.
cards like weren't even a thing.
I remember that.
So like yeah, it was kind of just rolling the
It
dice
was a
and
very big
seeing.
day.
Yeah, it could have ended a
Nobody knew.
lot. It could have ended a lot differently, but it
Nobody knew
didn't.
what COVID was back then. Yeah.
But like speaking on that, you have a job, like
Mhm.
if drag was my main
It
income,
would be a
I
thing.
would probably
Yeah.
have to do it and I would have to ignore those risks because I need
Mhm.
to live. And that's just kind of
That's
how it is. And
that's
it's not okay, but
mhm.
like it's sadly how it is. Like people need money to live.
Mhm. Exactly.
And so I would say to any performer pre-COVID, if it was like, are you talking like we
Pre-COVID, if
know
you
of
no,
COVID?
but if you had known now, and what would you tell yourself then to help you equip for it in terms of your career and drag
Like, yeah, I would
for drag queen?
say like keep myself like healthy first.
Mhm.
Keep yourself healthy. Don't overdo it, but don't underdo it. I would say because I'm tired of minimalism. I've
Mm,
been a victim of that
yeah,
as well, but
the
you live and
perpetrator.
learn.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, drag is changing a lot. So like especially with people, it inspired a lot of drag
Yeah.
queens, I think, and performers of all types during COVID. A lot of people took up wig making, which bothered me a lot because I
Really?
styled wigs.
Is that the new thing?
Yeah, so a lot of people, like my sales went down because
'Cause
everyone
there's
was styling their own wigs. I got
bunch of
very
new
few
people.
orders and they were just going with it. It's like, what do I have to show for it? Like I can edit a picture and make
Exactly.
my bad wig look nice.
But yeah,
But some people are, a lot of people took it up and a lot of people took up sewing and making
it was
outfits.
so good. Oh yeah, I remember. You were
I don't
Tatiana.
sew. Yeah, Tatiana took up sewing. I don't know how
Yeah,
to sew. I have like a general idea,
we know what.
but I like if you told me to make this, I
No,
probably wouldn't
it
know.
takes practice. That's one of the things that the Queens are
Yeah,
called
and
Drag
COVID
Race.
was a long
Mhm.
time too. And so like
A lot of
people
queens
had
were
a
able to
lot of time
practice.
to like be professionals at that point.
Yes, and I remember you were working on, weren't you? You were getting ready and practicing too over making pads, doing hair, all
Well, I
types.
always did all my own stuff like that, except sewing. And when
You're
I was
more
when you're new, you usually don't know like the drag designers in the industry. I do now. I have
Yeah,
like actually two
connection.
things I'm having probably made by someone.
Yes.
But you don't like know and you think like, sorry.
Mm.
Like it's fine to go to like Ross or H&M and find some things, but don't make that your personality.
Mhm.
You gotta have some like at least customize it,
Mhm.
do something with it to make it
Yourself,
different.
if it's like,
Like even a basic leotard
you
from
can add
H&M,
stuff,
you can add stuff. I've done
accessories.
like, the main one,
Sorry.
the main thing
Yeah.
that a lot of queens do is rhinestoning. That's fine. Just make sure
Yeah.
it's
I like
tasteful.
it when it's small little
I
to
like to
big.
use gold chains and stuff, maybe rip it up a little bit and use it. Just like all depends on how much time you have and how much you're willing to put into it. But basic, it like we've had time, like I said, to learn new crafts.
Yeah.
So it's a new era, I think.
Exactly. And I feel like, yeah, that's the thing, like with the new, and there's androgyny, you can do like burlesque and you can do like lip syncing, actual singing, like
I
act all
I just
not
think that
actual,
like,
but
yeah, but like
yeah, all the
I've like
forms.
been on hiatus for a while
Mhm.
and I'm already stressed because I'm planning on coming back soon. But like I know I need to go like with a bang. Like it needs to like be a new, like
Mhm.
fresh
You want
thing,
things to
new
be,
look, new makeup, new hair, everything. Like I want to
mhm.
rebrand.
You should yeah, like
I'm like,
something, one thing
and it needs to
or a
be
few
it
things.
needs to be elevated. And I think that's something
Elevated.
every like performer thinks to themselves,
Yeah.
like, how can I
How can
elevate?
you go to the next level with it, and how
And
if
whether it works or not,
yeah, that's the
time,
way.
time and error.
Yeah. And what ways have you been practicing working on, which way, what are you thinking for that's new that you might be including that we could see coming up?
I can't be giving too much away, but I will say it's gonna be a little more stripped down a little bit, not in a sensual way, as in the look. Like I still love big drag hair and I still love to style them a lot and do them for people.
You're really good at that.
But I think I'm past that now for me
Yeah,
personally.
she did.
So
Oh,
you're
first
just gonna get a lot more like raw, like kind of like
cut.
more natural looking kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Well, yeah, and something like with a more stiff, or maybe what's it called? You know, the types of hair.
I'm really into long hair, just flat long hair with the center part right
You like to
now.
flat hair.
I have like probably
Cause
dozens and dozens and dozens of wigs. Like that's like maybe like 50,
yeah,
counting the ones I have styled and the boxes I have with styled ones, plus all my regular ones.
exactly.
They're all flat right now, except for the big ones. I'm just into it right now.
I think you should try and use maybe one of these.
I
Get
have
you
one.
do. Wait, let me share screen and get this on our little um a share screen. I'm gonna share desktop. Okay. Yeah, like this is it. This is, you have one of
I
those?
have a curling iron.
No, not a regular one, but you know the small ones, the
It's like
thin
pretty
ones,
small.
like it's like a pencil.
It's not that small.
I've seen one. It was like a little like a 7. Oh my gosh, how'd you burn yourself?
Sandwich oven at work. Ugh,
Oh my gosh, how is your job going?
it's fine. Thank God Thanksgiving's over. So we're getting to work.
Yeah. Oh, were you guys selling turkeys?
No, but we had a lot of sliced, yeah,
Yeah.
but not full turkeys. The meat department does that. But we
Oh,
had a lot of cooked ones that we had to cut up and like.
you had to cut it?
I didn't.
Oh,
No, no, but
Did you
it
have
just.
pizza still?
No, I did counter and pizza. That's
Both.
annoying.
That's like, I liked counter because it was more slow. You didn't have to work laborious, but the
I don't know. My social battery runs out, and then I'm like, I don't.
oh yeah,
wanna
no,
do
that's it. Because once it gets like 2-3 hours in, you're like on the script already.
it. And like,
You know,
if you just have rude people, it's like just it ruins it. It really does.
it does. Oh yeah, Chipotle was hard because everyone's like waiting. The line's always long, and yours are always like people that are like they've been waiting. They come in like they've been waiting in a 30-minute line.
No, they're just entitled.
No, but like the people that I got at Chipotle for you are like from my busy long lines are the people that you get just like individual one-off every time. You know, they have that attitude.
Some are really nice, but some are not.
You have regulars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this queen makes the best pizza in town. Go support and tip at PCC. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will link your stuff right here in the corners. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Any final words for the community, the fans? Wait, let me take the ending real quick. Um, um, yeah. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
It's amazing, and I think this was a really good conversation. I think the community will be able to grow off this and like a little document of time for this time.
I hope so.
We'll check in later. See ya.
Bye.
All right, let me just stop that real quick.